Welcome back to another episode of the Maturity Project. I'm your host, Chad Ever Broshears, or Sir Chad Ever Broshears to some. If you know, you know. Today's episode of the Maturity Project is going to be, it's one that I've needed for a long time. It's a conversation I've needed to have with me for a long time. We all have this conversation. You need to have it. I mean, if you're going to do anything in life, you need to have it. And if not, if you don't have this, you're going to stay in that wishful state. You'll have modicums of success, but you won't really get to your real potential, who you are. Now, I want to make something clear for anybody who's watching. Most people say, hey, what have you done? Why should we listen to you? Show me. Put the proof in the pudding. Let's see a bank account. Let's see your house. Let's see your car. Let's see something that's a measurement of success. The things that are measurements of success that what people are ignorant to is also, who the fuck are you? Who are you as a person? Just because you got money in your bank account doesn't mean a goddamn thing when it comes down to who the hell are you whenever you're in their presence. Are you a shit person? Because a lot of them are. I learned as I heard this, I love to read, and there are very few people that I look up to the point where I'm like, that person's the one I'm modeling my behavior by. I look at that person as success. Very few. And I had a real interesting wake up whenever I met one of the people that I self-assigned as a mentor. Followed his work, bought into his stuff, did all kinds of things. The guy is brilliant, and I'm not going to take that away from him. But the Maturity Project goes over 8 different areas of maturity. And they say, be careful meeting your heroes, because your hero will crush your dreams. Some of those dreams are just that you like them on that pedestal. And when they show up as a human being, you realize they're not who you thought they were. And I had this absolute connection with this gentleman because he's brilliant. Love the dynamics of his thinking and the way that he be. And I'm just it was his cognitive maturity. And his I don't give a damn, and I'm going to tell you how I feel attitude that I bought into. I'm not saying he's not that way, but I put into his world how I saw my world. And I built that off. That's the framework I gave him as a privilege to be this person. The reality is he's more like me than I thought. Whenever we met, the person to person, first time, I'd been studying his work for a long time. He's got a lot of popularity, but he's in the alternative side. He's not the guy that's throughout academia, but you don't want to put anybody in academia in a room with him that falls into his category of expertise. And that's the physical body, health, well-being, that kind of stuff, without this guy really putting him through the ringer. So that was my pedestal that I put this guy on. Then I allowed the rest of the human being. When I say allowed, I didn't give him some sort of privilege that I'm like, okay, I'm your authority and I'm not going to give you that. It's in my world, in the world that I viewed this person in. I allowed him to be me in a lot of ways, and the sense of the privileges about being a person. But I had him be the person that I lived my life through, myself, with a mentor category, which means I had him above me in ways, but more developed and mature than I am, but off of the same framework. He's just ahead of me. So I allowed that to be my guide. And when I met him, just as soon as I heard his voice, I'm like, that's him. That's the dude. That's the guy I've been listening to and watching and reading. That's him. Hell yes, sense of excitement deep in my chest. And I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to talk to this guy. And I was there with an ex-girlfriend, but a friend at the time. She had recently spent time as a client of his. We went through the lecture, and we kind of went over and, all that. And I just briefly introduced myself before the lecture started, sat in the front row. Actually, no, we were in the second row, but we were right there in the front, because I had to be close. I was all in, man. Just mind wide open. Download. Give me stuff. Teach me. Awesome timelines. It's supposed to be, I want to say 6 hours, and it turned into almost 10. The guy just loves to talk about his education. He's passionate. I'm just there, just drinking it up, man, loving it. And I'm not downing any of that. Absolutely, I absolutely applaud him for what he's accomplished in his life. And then when I had the moment, after class was over, waited in line to go and talk to him. When I finally got that moment, stepped forward, face to face, 2 feet apart. My friend was with me, female. And I'm like, hey, Paul, I love it. Your work, you were brilliant. And these things are some of the stuff that I thought about your work, all that, right? Like just this excitement. I have a relationship with him because he doesn't know of me. But I have a relationship with him because I've followed him for so long and I created this reality with him. We all do this when you have a hero or an author or whatever. You create that person in your world. They don't know you. Unless they've ever had correspondence directly, they don't know who you are. They don't know you exist. His interest was in her. Like significantly, his interest was in her. He ignored me to an extent. I said a few things, and all of which were communication, not to just speak at him, but to speak with him. And it was dismissed because his sex drive, his appeal, his sexuality was what was in the space of his interest, more so than his connection with me as a person. And I was left with, oh, damn, that sucks. I have been so excited to meet this guy for so long. And because I'm not a female, I had less value. Yeah, it was a nice wake-up call. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'm not down on him for it. He's a human being. I've got a sex drive, too. It's a fucking ridiculous sex drive. But it's still that, I get it. I get it. And that's why I say he's more like me than I really think. Or at least I thought at the time. I gave him those forgivenesses, too. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I get it. But I didn't really get it. I get it now, 10 plus years later. But point of it is this. That man had some hard conversations in his life. He wouldn't be where he is right now if he didn't have these hard conversations. He had to look in the mirror and tell himself he's a loser. Like, you're a loser. And why you're a loser is these reasons. You gotta grow that person up. He did it. When you sit with somebody that's more developed than you, they remind you of what you don't know. And then you've got an opportunity to learn something. It's going to take you to a whole nother level. But the reality is, if you pull it into consideration, the only reason why you're not a loser and why you don't feel like you're a loser when you meet somebody who's more developed than you and you actually have admiration for them to develop you, is that you're willingly accepting that you're not where you want to be, and they are going to guide you to get there. So you don't tell yourself you're a loser. But where you need to start having these hard conversations, and I've had them this morning, I have them all the time now, realizing it. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. And sure, people can say justifiably, this doesn't make sense for that reason or whatever. Go ahead. Talk yourself out of a lesson again. Let the loser take over. It's going to do it. It's going to fight like hell. Self-preservation. But you're a loser. That's the person I want to talk to in this video. I was, in my opinion now that I'm an adult, I was handled with too much care in my life. Too much softening. Not enough of, you're not good enough. Now, I told myself that since I was a kid. I'm not good enough. And it turned into a language that said, I don't matter. That was the narrative. And I still have it. It's my narrative. It's mine. And here's the beautiful thing about it. You're right. I don't matter yet. Why? Because my goals aren't there. If I want to matter and make the difference in the world, because by the way, I don't matter, has made me do this. Now, it doesn't mean I look in the mirror every morning and go, I don't matter. No. It's there. It's always running in the background, but I'm not saying it to myself. I'm believing it. Then I'm not sitting there going, oh, I believe that. No, it's a subconscious run. It's called your mechanism. It's the thing that runs you. It don't matter. So, hey, the benefit of it is I'm going above and out of my way, above and beyond, to try to matter in this lifetime where my legacy means something to me that I'm taking action on it. And what I'm doing in the process is I am stripping down as much of who I am that holds me back. So I'm talking to the loser. The loser is the one that just doesn't get things done, makes excuses, turns everything into, you'll get it later, procrastinating, This whole, like, whenever I get enough emotion, I'll do something about it. That's the loser I'm talking about. The one that will have me settle in life. The same one that's going to have you settle, and the same one that has everybody who gets upset and frustrated. The loser shows up as the one that's frustrated. So if you're frustrated, guess what? You're a loser. But you don't need to stay there. All you have to do is use that as your compass and go, what can I do with this? How can I outgrow this? How am I going to develop myself so I don't keep doing this? For me, the loser is the one that went after the career. I've had 3 careers in my life. 3. I'm 44 years old. 3 careers, not jobs, careers. I'm a loser. The great thing about it is, the one that made me settle into the thing that doesn't work, that's the one that I'm chastising. That's the one that says, you're getting time out. You're going to grow up. And you're going to stop. You're going to stop disappointing yourself. That's the loser. You found yourself disappointed in you? That's your loser. You find yourself frustrated? That's your loser. You find yourself frustrated with others? That's your loser. Because what the fuck did you do to not be frustrated? Did you do anything at all to try to offset? Did you have that conversation you kept avoiding? And by the way, it could be a new relationship. But let me work off the old relationships. You have something playing in your head every day, or something that consistently repeats itself on a daily, on a somewhat regular basis in your head, a narrative, a conversation you're having, but you're not having. You're having it with yourself. It's in your head. And you have to filter out what you're wanting to say to another person and adjust it so that you don't upset them. That's your loser. Because you're also holding them in complacency. Now, you may have unrealistic goals for them. Sure, we all have that. Because sometimes we want more for other people than what they actually have the ability to achieve right now. But you talking the way that you are about that person and wanting them to achieve something more in their life than they currently are or what they think they can, that's you wanting to talk to their loser. But your loser steps in and says, nah, don't have that conversation. Don't upset them. Don't rock the boat. You can be a game changer, or you can be somebody who just holds everybody in place. And you know what? I choose not to be the one that holds everybody in place. So if I'm going to make the changes necessary to truly matter on a very big scale, to make a difference for people, I got to talk to that loser. I got to tell him, you're done. You've had your breaks. You did everything that you needed and wanted to do. You convinced me to stop. You're done. You're out. See, it's getting me because it's speaking to what I need to speak to. Think about this. If you want to go to a psychological energy level, right? Every time you have a conversation in your head, what other conversations can you have? Every time you get frustrated, what other emotion can you have? Every time you get into a situation that polarizes you to think a specific way, limits your ability to think as freely as you'd like. You're limited because now you're in a different frame of thinking. Does that frame contribute to the future you want to have? Or does that frame pull you back to the past that you're afraid to leave? It's the loser that I'm talking to. We all have it. We all do. Some people have just taken it on and said, no more loser. Get out of my life. I'm going to read instead of watch TV. I'm not going to keep giving myself the opium that keeps me from doing something. I'm stopping the entertainment that keeps me from living. You sit there and watch other people live on television in a fake world, something that is rehearsed and acted out. By the way, you know actors are paid to lie to you. That's not who they are. They're playing a role of another human being. They're convincing you that they're that. What do we do to people in our lives every time they convince us they're not somebody that they are, right? And I mean the ones that do it on purpose, the ones that want your affection so they act differently. And then you find out that's not who they are. What do you do with that person? What's the difference between that and an actor? The actor gets paid for it. They're not trying to do that to you. Yes, they are. Absolutely. They absolutely are trying to convince you they're that person. But it's entertainment that's the cushion that lets us go, yeah, it's okay. We're good there, man. I like that. I'm fun. That person's fun. You don't know if that person's fun. You have no fucking clue. You think they're fun because they're showing you they're fun. Sure, they might be. That's their profession. But they're paid to lie to you. You know, I've got friends. I'm 44 years old. I'm a man. I'm straight. I'm huge sex drive, right? Mentioned it, and I don't give a shit anymore. Tell people I don't care. So it's part of the sexuality aspect of it. I'm not going to pretend anymore. Yeah, I got a big sex drive. But I don't like strip clubs. Don't like them at all. No, not at all. So when people are like, hey, you want to go to the strip club? I'm like, no, not really. Don't care. Because I don't want to go pay somebody to lie to me. Come over and tell me that I'm attractive and cute and all this shit. I know, I hear it. I don't need somebody to come over and tell me that. I don't care. I'm not full of myself. I don't think I'm a 10, if you want to use the scales. I don't give a shit. I don't think I'm that. But I take care of myself. Charismatic enough. No, I am also genuine enough. I care. I want to connect. I don't want transactions. I don't want to have relationships based on transactions. So yeah, I don't like to go to the strip clubs. For the same reason that I don't hold actors in the light that everybody else is so fucking obsessed with. Oh my God, I met so-and-so. You know what excites me about meeting so-and-so? Talking to them about what life is for them. Not about what movies they've done and all that shit. I learned my lesson by meeting my hero. You want to do your own thing, man. Do your own thing. But I'm telling you right now, you want to let your loser run your life, keep drinking up the opium. Keep taking it. Smoking up the opium. Keep watching all the shit that distracts you from the work you need to do. Didn't pick up that book before bed. You didn't do it. You sat on the toilet and played a fucking video game or went over Facebook. You let your loser win. What the hell are you doing with Facebook? Spending time doing nothing? Now, I'm not saying tomorrow change your life, but start talking to that loser. Get to the conversations. Because if not, you're just going to live with frustration. And what do we do when we're frustrated, right? Remember, when you're in a specific emotional state, it's hard to get out of that. And it's only, by the way, it's not misery loves company unless you understand what company is. Emotions like emotions that are similar to themselves. To be sad and happy at the same time is very hard to do. Very hard to do. And there's only a few circumstances in life that truly ask for that type of feeling. Bittersweet. That's what it is. But you don't really, truly get bittersweet that often in your life. You get it occasionally. That's why it stands out, because it's rare by comparison. When you're in a specific emotional state, that's it, man. You're locked in there for the most part. I mean, you have pathways, but there has to be similar emotions that help get you there until you have an intervention that interrupts it, that changes it to something a little more drastic from where it was, that is in another direction, right? You can be happy as can be and full of fun and enjoy it, everything, and all of a sudden you hear something that just takes you out of that and puts you into this miserable place. You can do that. That happens. But if you let your loser keep you into that conversation about how things aren't really that great and you need to continue to consume everything that just turns you off, right? But it turns you on to be turned off. You're turned on to be turned off in your life. Now, I'm not talking shit about people that are actors as much as that's what they do. They convince you they're people they're not. It's entertainment. And I have a very good friend that watches this. She's an entertainer. She's an actress. She's a model. She's fantastic. I love her to death. She's fantastic. And I'm not talking shit about her. Her profession is there to convince people they're somebody they're not. That's what the profession is. It's to sell stuff. You buy tickets to watch movies. You watch advertisements as you're paying your attention to the advertiser. So they want to find shows that have a specific demographic, and they run a business model on it. And the business model is you pay with your attention for the show that you want to watch, and the advertiser pays for the time that your attention is affording so that they can sell their product and you can get your show. And you don't realize they're getting their product to you. Sometimes we just look at it and say, this commercial is a nuisance. But when you go to the grocery store or wherever you can purchase that thing, online or whatever, you're like, hey, wow, oh yeah, that's right. I've seen this before. Hey, we got to buy stuff. It's part of the economy. And there's ways to do it. And I'm not down in it. I'm just telling you, this is what's happening. I'm not polarizing it as a full-on negative. Where I'm putting the negative is whenever you're wasting your life doing it. If you don't want your life wasted. Waste it if you want. I don't care. It's your life. I'm telling you to try to interrupt. So talk to that loser. I sure as hell am. That loser that I addressed, the one that wanted my showers comfortable first thing in the morning, the one that said, oh, the water's got to be hot before I get under it. No. Turn the faucet on, or I turn the shower on, and immediately get under that water. Immediately. I'm like, the first 30 seconds is shit, fuck, all that, and I'm like, bam. It's actually not 30 seconds. It's about the first 5 seconds. And then as soon as I get under that cold water, it gets my stomach, it gets my front, right? And I'm just like, oh, that comfort that I was really hoping to hold on to, not realizing I was hoping to hold on to it, but I was, because it just reminded me when it was taken away, says, all right, your day is now. And then to my back, lean forward, get it on my back. Ooh, I gotta tell you, that'll wake you up. And I let go of that comfort enough that I'm actually getting my day started differently. I'm putting myself in a frame of thinking that's going to make me move forward further. Because if I'm going to wake up and put myself through that, I sure as hell am not going to sit down when other challenges come up that I will take on. And then there's the little things that I'm not realizing I'm not addressing. The conversation that's in my head that I'm not having with people whenever I'm in their presence. Not right now. Don't talk about it right now. It's okay to wait. It's okay to procrastinate. You know, I started running a tally on how long those conversations lasted me, and I'm not telling you I'm perfection. I'm damn sure not perfection. I'm in the process. I'm in the process of my life. You're seeing me in the journey. This isn't the destination. This is my destination right now, is to be present to what I'm going through and make this thing work. Make this thing something different. Break the pattern of the generations that I've been given. I love and appreciate the people that have come before me, and this is my life that I'm living. And I'm breaking those patterns by addressing the things that need to be addressed, or I'm going to live a variation of what I was been given to live. And I got to tell you, some of those things I'm not very satisfied with at all. It's not the life I want, and it's not the life I'm going to give my son, nor the life that I'm going to influence his mother by, or anybody else that's in my life. That loser is not running my show anymore, because I don't have time for him. I don't want to. I got how many days left in life? Most of us don't even look at life that way. We'll listen to motivational speeches and we're like, oh, wow. You know, Steve Jobs hit me pretty hard the other day. Probably about a month ago. I'm listening to motivational conversations, something on, just kind of polarizing my mind in a place that makes me more satisfied by the end of the day, that I've accomplished more. So early in the day, I'm listening and watching and listening to a motivation speech. And Steve Jobs is addressing a university at graduation about living every second and all of that. And this is right after he had recovered from his first bout with cancer. And he was talking about live every day as if it's your last and all of this. And I'm listening to him, I'm like, God damn, man. It's motivating. It's motivating. Then I caught myself devaluing his words whenever I thought, if he only knew He was going to die from what he just thought he was free of, because he did die from it. And I was like, wow, why am I taking that away from him because I know his outcome? It's kind of like watching a movie that you know how it's going to end, but you've never watched it before, just somebody spoiled it. It's not like that. But this is a man's life. It's not some movie. No, I'm like, golly, man. This dude, like, he really put some effort into living. And here I am, putting less effort into living than he did. And how do I know I'm putting less effort in? He got a fuck ton farther than I have. And multiple areas of success. But again, that success isn't measured by the bank account. I measure success by 8 different areas of life, in 8 different areas of maturity. So that one hit me pretty good, because I'm like, wow. I mean, anybody that talks to me and be like, wow, Chad, you've done a lot. You've really put in some work. You know, you're different. Well, I got a lifetime of being different. But you can't define my difference. Not whenever I haven't put in the work for you to go, Chad is this. And why? Because I'm not having the conversations I need to have, because how you do anything is how you do everything. And I'm not having the conversations that I need to have with the people in my life that mean something. And I'm playing small for them. Same thing with work, right? The way that I think and process, I get quiet in areas I don't understand yet, because I want to learn as fast as possible. If you don't tell people that's why you're doing it, they think you don't have the ability to keep up. Now you can sit back and be like, oh, I know I can keep up, and I'm going to prove it to them. I'm just going to show them I can keep up. Well, guess what? They may make a decision before you have your opportunity to show them. They may actually be like, yep, he's not making the cut. Doesn't have the skills that we thought he had when we hired him. You're picking up the data necessary to process things in the most effective way and the best way to develop yourself so that you can become the most proficient, and you didn't tell them. Next thing you know, you're sitting down at the desk and they tell you it's time to go, man. You're not meeting the cut. The reality is it's your fault because you didn't fucking say anything. You didn't tell them, I process like this. I'm learning. Here's my challenges. Here's what I'm up to. Here's how I'm making progress. Because I'm quiet. I'm listening. I'm watching. I'm learning. It's a hell of a thing to do when you're playing a game. When you're out there on the field, because people can't read you. When you're doing poker, when you're playing poker, it's another great tactic. Stoic, quiet. You might throw a couple of little distractions in there when you're playing poker, because that helps you be better. But when you're first starting, you don't typically do that, because you can really tell on yourself. But you don't have those conversations. If I don't have the conversations in the personal world, I'm not going to do it in a professional. Just not going to do it. And if I do, what kind of coward is that? Oh, I'll have it in a professional world because I get paid for it. But in a personal world, I'm not going to have those conversations. I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to rob my fulfillment in life with that anymore. That coward is done. The other thing, if you ever catch yourself lying about something, you're a fucking coward. That is your loser. And you're a loser for it. Lie about it. Go ahead. Give away the power of who you are. Lie. Good. I have. Yep. I've done it because I'm a coward. And you know what? That loser, that's not the one I'm going to have people know me for. You're going to know me as honest. Why? Because that's what my life stands for. You like me, you love me, you hate me, but you know about me. And you know that I'm here to do something. I'm doing this for everybody, including myself. So, all right, talk to that loser. Get rid of them. It's going to take time. So give yourself the privilege that it's going to take you time to get rid of the loser. You've got to face the reasons why you're willing to not do something. That'll get you further. But if not, if you don't do it, you're going to have a repeat of the same outcome. Growth comes from addressing that person. So you do your thing, man. You either join me in this process and get over it and stop. If you find yourself being a victim, you're a loser. You can overcome whatever. Now, am I saying that whole loser and the most defeating negative? No, I'm telling you that's where you grow from. So people can be like, but he called me a loser. All right, well, yeah, you let that loser run your life. Go ahead, I don't care. Now, if that's how you want to be about it, it's like, I only got so much time, man. You know, the building's on fire and I only got enough time to knock and tell everybody one time. Hey, man, I can't sit here and convince you about whatever's going on. I'll say what I have to say and I gotta go. Because if I spend too much time here trying to convince you and you don't want to believe it, that's going to take away from somebody else because I only got so much time. Like Steve Jobs, if he knew how much time he had left, he might have done things a little bit differently. But he's already living pretty powerfully. You know, he's making influences on people and really making differences in industry. He was amazing in that. We only got so much time, and we don't think about life that way. We don't think about life having, okay, I've got probably 30 years left to it. I've got 40 years left. Now you can start qualifying it. And then your days become more expensive. What the hell are you doing with that expense? So, hey, you do whatever you need to do, okay? But I'm telling you, if you want to change, you want to get rid of that loser in your life, the loser that you are in your life, yeah, this is where I plan to help you from. But you first have to admit it to yourself. Because if you're going to get defensive and say, well, he called me a loser, he's an asshole, you let that loser run your life. Go ahead. I'm not trying to come from I'm better than you. I'm trying to come from work with me, grow with me. That's what I want. And you know what? This is also because I was softened too much in life. I was handled with too much care. There's plenty of times, and I'm not saying that you don't do that. I'm saying you got to figure out where the balance is and when do you take the crutches off. The training wheels of life. Because there's too many adults right now demanding training wheels and making everybody else wrong for what they don't have because somebody else failed them somewhere. So, all right, that's it. I'm done talking about that loser today. I'm going to keep addressing this little bastard. Now, with that, this is the Maturity Project. I am your host, Chad Everett Broshears, or Sir Chad Everett Broshears to some. If you know, you know. Share this video with the person in your life that you know this can actually break the ice with and make a powerful conversation. You might want to watch this a couple of times for yourself and dress your own damn loser. All right, until next time. Subscribe to the channel. Let's make sure that you get these videos as soon as possible. It's a good way to start your day. I do record, I shoot for at least 6 days a week right now. I will start breaking things up a little bit differently. I addressed one of the parts of my loser self by actually asking for help. By the way, yes, my strength and independence made me a loser in some places, and I'm not willing to continue that. And this is part of what you guys will see moving forward as well. So, all right. Now, again, until next time, the world is asking for us. It needs us. You need you. So don't jump ahead of the line. You're not ready for it. You got to work on yourself first. Join me in that, okay? I'm working on myself every day, and I'd really love the opportunity to do it with you. So, yeah, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. You jump in front of the line, you're not ready for it, you're going to find out you've created a path to hell yourself. And right now, our society is geared to making a super highway to hell by getting all of us to go against each other constantly. Growing up and maturing is the antidote to that. The antidote, sorry. All right, anyway. All right, till next time. This Maturity Project. Let's get to it. All right. Catch you on the other side. See ya.